Hello my dear students. First of all, I would like to welcome you to this class. This class will be of your chemistry. In this session, I will be your chemistry mentor. My name is Sir Avinash Conver. I'll write down my name over here. So I will be taking your chemistry for this session. Okay? Now, in class 9, when we look at science overall, science is divided in three main parts. Okay? The first 4 chapters are your chemistry, next comes your biology, then comes your physics. I'll be considering only those 4 chapters. In today's session, what we are trying to do, we will try to understand the first chapter, which is your matter in our surroundings. Okay guys? Now, in your previous classes, you might have already learned about matter. So what is matter? Please try to recall. What is matter? Can you answer that? If not, you can listen to this definition, which is a very old definition. You have been learning it. Okay? What is matter? Anything. Okay? Any body, anything that occupies space and has a definite volume is called matter. Am I clear? Anything that occupies space and has a definite volume is called matter. Okay? So will you say that air is matter? Yes, air is matter. Is this pen matter? Yes, the pen is matter. The duster, it is matter. The board, the ink by which I'm writing on it, everything is matter. Now what is not matter then? Your thoughts, your feelings, those are not matter. For example, when you run or when you're in some exciting situations, suppose you're playing certain games. So what do? You get excited. When you get excited, the adrenaline glands releases adrenaline hormones. Because of this adrenaline, you get the rush, you feel the rush. Okay, now that adrenaline hormones, that is matter. But the feeling which you feel after that, the feeling of euphoria, the feeling of excitement, that is not matter. But some people have this misunderstanding that whatever we cannot see, those things are not matter. Whatever we can see, those things are matter. It's a very wrong definition. You cannot see air, but air is matter. You cannot see your own brain right now. Do you think your brain exists? Yes, it exists. Your brain matters. Okay guys? So, can you tell me, is smell of perfume matter or not? Smell of perfume? Yes, it is matter. Okay? Is your water liquid matter or not? Yes, it is matter. So till now what you have learned? First you have learned the definition of matter. You can rewind it, you can write it down, start taking notes. Okay guys? You have understood what is matter also now? Now, going deep into the topic of matter, you have to understand. Suppose I want to build a wall. Okay? You are a mason. You want to build a wall. So what do you do first? You lay down the foundation. You put down the bricks. Then you glue them together using cement or any other gluing materials. Right? Now, everything in this universe exists in the same concept. Every single body is made up of atoms. What is it made up of? Atoms. Now who gave the theory of atom? So John Dalton. You have learned this in class 7 itself. John Dalton's atomic theory was the first theory about atoms, about the existence of atoms. An interesting fact is that the British people or your Sir John Dalton gave the atomic theory in around 17th century. Okay? But we Indians, we knew about atoms thousands of years before. We call those atoms Anu. What do we call them? Anu. So we knew the concept of atoms. We knew the main basic theory of atoms thousands of years before. So we should be credited first, but it's okay. They gave their first theory, so it's to their tradition. Okay? Now, what is an atom? How can you explain atom? Now in chemistry, you are starting your basic chemistry from class 9. 9, 10, 11, 12, then you go for graduation, masters, whatever you want to do. If you understand or if you grasp the concept of atom right now itself, everything will be simple for you. If you understand atoms, molecules are easy for you. Molecules समझ गया, elements are easy for you, compounds are easy for you. Everything will become very easy and clear for you. So what do you have to do? You have to understand the concept of atoms. I can just leave you with the definition. What is an atom? The smallest building material of matter is called atom. Will that be enough? No. Okay? That won't be enough. But still, I'll first give you the definition of an atom first. The definition says that the smallest indivisible particle of matter is called atom. What is the definition? The smallest indivisible particle of matter is called atom. Why did they use the word indivisible? Because the meaning of indivisible is you cannot divide it down. That means you cannot take an atom, you cannot cut it into half piece and you cannot see what is inside it. Okay guys, right now you know that protons, neutrons, electrons exist. But how did scientists come up with those theories? They conducted different experiments. No one was there to open up an atom and see that cholo, there is an electron inside it. No. They had their own specific experiments for that, which we will come into in your later chapters. Okay guys, so this is the definition of an atom. Now I will explain you what is an atom, how to understand atom. Okay guys, take a paper. This is all about your imagination. You guys have very high imagination and creative power, so you can understand this. Take a piece of paper. Okay? Start tearing that piece of paper into small parts. Now when you tear that paper into small parts, what happens is, there will come a point when you cannot tear that paper anymore, right? You start tearing it, there will come a very small bit of paper, you cannot tear that paper anymore. What do you do next? Imagine yourself that your size has become small. You have shrunk yourself down. Now when your size becomes small, you can tear that piece of paper now. Understood? First there was a big paper, you started tearing it. Now there is a small bit of paper. Next step, your size goes down. When your size goes down, you can tear the paper. Let the process continue. Paper will become small, your size grows small. Let it continue. There will come a point, no matter how small you shrink, how small you become, you cannot tear the part of paper. That part of paper is called atom. That's why the word indivisible. I hope it was clear. Okay guys, so what does it prove? It proves that every type of matter, whether it be solid, whether it be liquid, whether it be gas, all the types of matter are made up of atoms guys. Okay? What is inside an atom? What was the path to the discovery of atom? What were the different atomic principles? We will learn in the next chapter. I will teach you that, don't worry about it. But basic thing dimag mein dal lo that all types of matter is made up of atoms. Is it okay? Now we will proceed to the types of matter. Since matter you have already learned, types of matter now. So I'll rub this off guys. When we look at the types of matter, everyone knows that matter can be divided into solid, liquid, gas. How do you differentiate between solid, liquid, gas? Just by looking at them? No, don't think about like that, okay? How to think about it now? You think about the arrangement of atoms. Solid is made up of atoms, liquid is made up of atoms, gas is made up of atoms. Now when we look the inside of a solid, the arrangement of atoms are like this. Liquid, certain gaps are there in between. And when we look at gas, the particles are just randomly moving here and there. Can you see the difference here guys? In solid, these round things which I am representing as atoms are very much close to each other. That means they are packed together. Now, if something is packed together, then obviously it will be hard. That's why solid is hard. That's why you cannot just break it if you want to. Right guys? Liquid, particles have gaps inside it. Done? Now because of these gaps in the particles, liquids are softer than solids. Liquids have different properties than solids. Liquids can flow. Liquids take the shape of container in which it is kept. Okay guys? Gas, there is no force of any definite force of attraction between two particles. So if there is no force of attraction, what's happening? The particles are just moving randomly here and there. Due to this movement of particles, gases travel from one place to another much easier than liquids or solids. Okay guys? ठीक है? Concept of solid, liquid, gas. Can you tell me one example of solid? Any example? Diamond. Example of liquid? Water. That is your H2O. Example of gas? Oxygen gas. Is it okay guys? We have diamond as solid, we have water as liquid, you have oxygen as gas. ठीक है? Now, your next topic in your NCERT textbook is characteristics of particles of matter. This question might carry your 3 marks if the question is given to explain in brief about the entire characteristics of matter. Okay guys? So when we look, can I rub this first of all? Can I rub this guys? Have you copied it down? I'll just rub it off. There are 3 characteristics of particles of matter. Okay? What are particles of matter here? What are we talking about? Atoms or molecules. ठीक है? So what are the 3 characteristics here? The first characteristic, particles of matter attract each other. This is the first characteristic of matter. Particles of matter attract each other. What is the meaning of attraction? Attraction means trying to pull it towards itself. ठीक है? Now you try to remember your previous diagram, solid, liquid, gas का diagram. Solids were close to each other, the particles. Liquids were a bit far away from each other. Gases were too far away from each other, all the particles. So we can conclude that in solids, the forces of attraction between particles is the highest. In gases, it's the lowest. Okay guys, understood? This attractive forces is also known as interatomic forces. So interatomic forces in case of solids, highest, I'll give this symbol, okay so guys, greater than symbol. Then comes liquid, then comes gas. Solid, liquid, gas. Done guys? Can I go to the next characteristic? Okay, I'll rub this off. Your next characteristic is the particles of matter have spaces between them. Now this is related to the first characteristic. What does it mean? Particles of matter have spaces between them, and try to recall the first characteristic. The first characteristic was particles of matter attract each other. So solids have high force of attraction. They don't have much spaces between them. But what about liquids and gases? Their force of attraction is weak, right? They are far away from each other. That means those particles have spaces between them. For example, in case of gases, look here. Particles of matter have spaces between them. Am I clear? Simple thing. Now, whose spaces are maximum? In case of gases, the particles of matter have maximum space. Then comes liquid. Then comes your solid. Is this sequence clear? Please write it down. Take a note of it. You have to remember this. Now I will try to ask you a very simple question. It's a question given in your NCERT examples. A diver. You understand a diver, right? Chalo, if you don't understand diver, let us take a swimmer. A swimmer can swim across water. He can swim across lake. He can swim across river. Can he do the same thing in case of roof or in case of floor? What do you think? And why? Can you try to answer the question? A diver or a swimmer swims across water, but he cannot swim across the floor. Why? Why? Which property of matter does it show? it reflects the second property of matter. What is the second property of matter? Particles of matter have spaces between them. Because the matter has spaces between them, the particles are far away from each other, the diver can move across water. But in case of solids, all the matter is packed with each other. If the matter is packed with each other, how will he move? Okay guys? So second one done. Third. The third characteristics of particles of matter. Particles of matter are continuously moving. Are continuously moving. Particles of matter are continuously moving. Now you will ask, sorry sir, how is that possible? How can matter move by itself? They do. Take a simple example. Suppose you are inside a room. You are putting body spray or your perfume on one side of the room, but on the other side, if someone is staying far away from you, he can still smell it, right? How did that happen? Did you throw away the gas there? No. The gaseous particles, the body spray, the gaseous particles moved through air. When it moved through air, it went from one place to another. The same thing happens, okay? The same thing happens when you light an incense stick or when you light a coil, mosquito coil, anything like that. Understood? So by this you can understand that particles of matter are continuously moving. In case of solids also, now this is interesting guys. In case of solids also, the particles want to move. But why can't they move? They can't move because the forces of attraction between different particles are extremely high. So they are bound to each other. They cannot move out from there. Is it okay guys? Now, wait just a second. In this regard, one question I want to ask you. Two types of biryanis you have. Everyone eats biryani, right? Okay? Let's not take chicken biryani here. Let's take veg biryani. Everyone likes veg biryani or pulao, anything like that. Okay. Now you have two pulaos with you. One is hot pulao. You have just made it, taken out from your vessel, kept it. One is cold pulao. That means suppose you made it yesterday. Which one will smell more? The hot pulao, right? The cold pulao, you have to come very close to that cold pulao to get the smell. Hot pulao, even if you are staying far, you can smell it. Again, this belongs to this same characteristic. Particles of matter are continuously moving. But I want to bring one more topic over here. This topic is called kinetic energy. Don't get stressed. Though this is a physics term, its importance is there in chemistry also. Now, what is the role of kinetic energy here? See guys, whenever any body is in motion, okay, whenever any body is in motion, it possesses kinetic energy. Now, when particles of matter are continuously moving, those particles are also containing kinetic energy. The higher the kinetic energy, the farther it can travel. The slower the kinetic energy, the slower it can travel. So in case of hot biryani and cold biryani, the hot biryani contains, its particles contains more kinetic energy. The cold biryani contains less kinetic energy. समझ गया? I will give you one more example. Take example of hot boiling water. बहुत गर्म पानी है वहाँ पे. And steam, hot steam. Which one do you think will cause more burn? The water or the steam? Think about it. Okay guys? Think about it. I'll leave this answer, you try to find by yourself. Hot water or hot steam? Which one will cause more burns if it falls on your skin? And I'll give you a hint. It is related to particles of matter, this third characteristic, and it is also related to kinetic energy. Okay guys? Can I proceed to the next topic? Chalo. Now, let's try to go back to the different states of matter. What were the different states of matter? Solid, liquid, gas. Very simple. Class 5-6 में आप लोगों ने पढ़ा है. Solid, liquid, gas. I'll teach you something new now. How can you convert one state, from one state can you convert into another state? That means from solid can you convert into liquid? From liquid can you convert into solid? Can you do the process ulta also? Opposite. Can you do that? Yes, we can. Okay? Yes, we can. See, look here. I have three states of matter here: solid, liquid, gas. I have solid here, I have liquid here, I have gas here. How do I convert solid into liquid? Socho, example, ice. Excuse me. Ice. How do you convert ice into water? You melt it, right? You increase the temperature, you melt it down. So what is the process known as? Melting. It is also called fusion. That's how you convert solid into liquid. How do I convert liquid into gas? Pani rakha hai. There is water in your saucepan. You boil it. It gets converted into vapor, right? So what is the process known as? Vaporization. ठीक है? So when you are going from solid to gas, you have to increase the temperature. What do you have to do? You have to increase the temperature. This part belongs to the same graph, same table only, okay guys? Now, solid to liquid done, liquid to gas done. Can you convert solid into gas directly? Is there any process? Is there any process in which you are converting solid into gas directly? Yes, there is. What is the process known as? The process is called sublimation. What is it called? Sublimation. You can understand this with an example. During winter time, suppose winter khatam hone wala, winter is going to end. Your parents, your mom, what does she do? She brings naphthalene balls. Have you seen those naphthalene balls, the big round balls? You insert those in between the clothes. Okay, so these naphthalene balls, what property do they have? These naphthalene balls, they disappear by themselves. Suppose you are keeping these naphthalene balls in the month of March or April, end of winter. Next year when you want to reuse the clothes again, if you open and see the naphthalene balls have disappeared. Did anyone eat those? Did you eat those? No. What happened? Solid naphthalene balls directly converted into gas. Disappeared. What is the name of the process? Sublimation. Chalo, और एक example देता है. The Odonil which you use in your bathrooms and all. You bring the Odonil packet, there is solid inside it, right? It's not gas. Have you ever touched the Odonil packet? It is solid only. You bring the Odonil packet, you keep it in your toilet. 1 month later, it's over. How did it get over? Did anyone eat it? No, no one ate it. Did anyone steal it? No one will steal your Odonil. What happened? Solid Odonil got converted into gas. Sublimation. Understood, guys? So if they ask you, what is sublimation? Please write this down. Write this down, okay guys? What is sublimation? The process, okay? The process in which a solid is directly converted into gaseous state. I'm repeating it again. The process in which a solid is directly converted into gaseous state without entering the liquid state. The last line is important now. As I say, without entering the liquid state, okay? Last time, I'm repeating the definition. It's a very, very important definition, guys. Please remember this. Till your class 11, 12, you will need this. The process in which solid is directly converted into gaseous state without entering the liquid state is called sublimation. Done, guys? Now, solid to liquid, liquid to gas, sab khatam ho gaya. This top part is over. So when you have to move from solid to gas, you always have to increase the temperature. Done? Let's go to the bottom part now. Can you convert gas into solid? Have you seen anywhere gas is being converted into solid? You see it every day. You see it every day. I'm telling you. How? Let's take an example. You go to a shop. You ask them for a cold Pepsi or a cold Coke. So they give you a can of Coke. They give you a can of Pepsi. You take it out. You don't drink it. You just leave it out in the open. After leaving it out in the open, what happens? The cold Pepsi or the cold drink, on the surface of the can, water droplets are formed. Yes or no? Tiny, tiny water droplets are formed. What are those water droplets? Where did those come from? They came from this process, conversion of gas into liquid. Okay? This process is called condensation. I know you have heard the word, but you don't recall it. So this is called condensation. So condensation में क्या होता है? There is a vessel. This vessel has very low temperature in it. Low temperature vessel, okay? This is a cold drink, low temperature vessel. You keep it out in the open. Outside there are many gases. Those gases strike the surface of this cold vessel. When these gases touches the surface of this cold vessel, these gases are being converted into tiny water droplets, which you see in your cold drinks. This is called condensation, guys. Okay? And the last one, what is the last one? How do you convert liquid into solid? How do you do that? Everyone knows it. Ice cream कैसे बनता है? How do you make ice? What do you do? Freezing. Freezing. खत्म. ठीक है, guys? Now, one thing you notice here, okay? To convert solid into gas, you have to increase the temperature. Now, to convert gas into solid, what do you have to do? Decrease the temperature. That's how gases become solid. Now, since there was a process called sublimation in which solid is getting converted into gas, same goes vice versa. Gases can be converted directly into solid. This is called your desublimation. Then guys, if this question comes, it will come for 3 marks. High chances are there. This is one of the most important questions. Along with this, you will need the definitions of all this also. I don't want to go into small definitions. You can find it out from the book itself. Or if you are still having any problem, you can please call me up. We can sort out the problem together. Okay? So for today's class, I'm going to stop here. In this chapter, one more topic is left, evaporation. Now see guys, for evaporation and one more topic, there is a latent heat. I want to explain you those topics very thoroughly. So, till now, you try to cover up till this much. Try to solve some NCERT questions. See, your NCERT exercises, questions are very easy. Try to look there once. Go through those questions. You will see one of these questions for sure. Try to solve it. If you are having any problems, please contact me. In the end, I would like you to say that please stay safe. Okay guys, please stay safe and please don't leave your studies now. Though this is like a mini vacation for you, studies go hand in hand. Okay guys, thank you so much.